I realized like everyone's healing is so different, right? Like I'm watching the idolatry and spiritual attacks with Tiffany Buckner, which is a great interview. And I'm definitely understanding that there is a lot of spiritual aspects, esoteric lessons, or esoteric meanings behind some of the things that we go through on an everyday basis, from eating to the things we think about to the people we hang with. Blase, blase. Great, 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 great. Right? And this is specifically talking about demons, and this specific interview is talking about demons that we all have that could have been implemented and preyed upon, if you will, as a child. But something I'm learning holistically, between religious and spiritual individuals, because I'm not Christian, I'm not in any religion, I'm definitely more spiritual than anything. But it's the amount of healing you're willing to do. Whether you're a Christian, whether you're not a Christian, whether you're in a religion such as you're a Muslim, Islam, forgive me if that's not a religion, or you're in another type of religion or a spiritual practice, right? There is some form of healing that needs to take place in your motherfucking life. Right? Because you can go to church, you can go to, the mosque, you can make offerings to whoever, right? And you can be equipped with the necessary tools and gifts and knowledge to move forward and, help yourself and empower yourself. But there has to be some level of healing to understand what you're doing is effective for yourself and on behalf of other people, right? And I say other people I say that to say that are you helping others or are you hurting other people, right? And that's two questions. Because from your healing, you are going to be placed in situations or circumstances where you have to really ask yourself, like, is this helping me or is this helping somebody else or is this hurting somebody else? Right? And then from those answered questions, like, you got to make decisions about your own life from your own perspective. Like, for instance, based upon the healing that I do, if someone does something to me that is wrong, right, I have one of three choices. I can surrender that situation to the Most High and, the authorities. I can then, number two, take it into my own hands and enact retribution, which is also not bad either, which I will then go into that. Or number three, just do nothing, right? And I think in many of the cases, I see that as black and white, or just plain to say, you have three choices. To continue what I was saying, you have one of three choices, or even other plethora of choices that you can make for your own self, right? And even in that statement, that's very subjective, and it just circles back to whether you're in a religious group, whether you're not in a religious group, whether you're in whatsoever. The choices you make should come from a healed place. And if they're not, that's a personal thing that you just need to start examining. Are they coming from a healed place? If I was healed, what would this look like? And I really mean if I was healed. Do not go out into the world and be like, oh, well, this person says if I was healed, this would look like this. The fuck it don't. The fuck is not supposed to look like that for your own healing. I would love to understand. Because that gets me pissed off. Right? Listening to some of these interviews, people have their own version of what healed looks like, and that's totally not what is keen to who they are and their personal journey on this earth. And we also need to understand, just like anybody else, we all have personal journeys on this earth. I.e., that's what Dr. Umar said. And that's what's also preached in these esoteric readings and in the Bible, too. For I know the plans that I have for you, says the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope in the future. I know that's Jeremiah, I think, 29:11. Right? It's everywhere in these spiritual texts. And, it's personable to you. So just as your personal life plan or your life, whatever the fuck this is personal to you, your healing needs to be personal to you. Right? So somebody can tell you all they want. This is what healing should look like for you. But ultimately, you need to be the prime applicator, if you will, of what healing looks like for you. Because who the fuck is telling you what healing should look like for you individually? I'm so serious. Like, you really need to sit down with yourself and really ask yourself those questions about, like, if I was healed, what the fuck would this look like? And if you don't know, that's okay. I think a prime indicator, if you was healed, is just like handling something way different than you usually would handle it, right? Right? And on a spiritual aspect, healing looks like acknowledging some of the places where you are weak and some of the places where, you may not be the strongest. You may not be able to look at, or just maybe in your rear view, or you just don't see, right? Things that you can't see, that you don't see, and that you are not openly willing to acknowledge, right? And that's hard, and that's like, it's important, but that is healing. Doing something out of the ordinary is what I would describe as healing. Bringing something down to the surface, bringing something up from the surface, or up to the surface rather, is healing.